Hey you guys, so I wanted to come on here and tell you how I've been feeling and thinking, and what happened yesterday. So yesterday I was taking an exam for C810, Foundations in Healthcare, and it's a difficult class to pass. The test is not easy. The exam is not, even the pretest is not easy. Um, so I'd already previously failed the exam twice. So this was my third attempt. um, I took the pretest. I passed the pretest. I had been studying with one of the instructors, so I felt ready. So I sat down to take the pretest. I had set it up last week for yesterday in the morning, and I mean, just everything just kind of went wrong. You know what I mean? I had a rough time getting into the testing site because I guess WGU is changing it. They were supposed to change, I guess, the College of Healthcare as well, ours, and we were supposed to be going to examine it, but when I set up my exam, it was still through ProctorU. Now, let me tell you a little bit about ProctorU. ProctorU is a online testing setup. Um, it's through a third-party company, and the company is, I don't know if they're based out of the country, but the test site people, the people who actually watch you take the exam, are from some Asian country. I want to say Philippines, Thailand. I'm not really sure. I can't really tell from the English that they're speaking, their accent. I can't really tell. Um, so anyway, that's besides the point. So yesterday I sat down, took my test finally, and I was probably about an hour, a little more than an hour into my exam. I had like 20 minutes left, and I had pulled to the side a few questions I wanted to review. A few questions I wanted to review. So I'm reviewing them, going through them. And the next thing I know, my husband burst through the door, and he's like, hey, da 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 da. He's like greeting me and all that stuff for the morning time. And I just know, like, I'm done. You know what I mean? The policy that WGU has with test taking is that the environment is supposed to be undisturbed. If you have your kids in there with you, they can't talk. If your dog's in there with you, they can't be barking or anything like that, because it's a disturbed environment. And once that happens, they basically treat it like you've gotten up and went to the bathroom. When you get up to go to the bathroom during an exam, you can't go back. Right? So that's basically what happened. So everything I had marked for review, everything I needed to go back and look at, I couldn't. It was done. So I had about 20 questions that I wanted to go back review, and I couldn't. So she let me finish she made me secure the area again, like secure the room. Sorry, my throat's really rough. I was crying a lot yesterday. And I had to secure the room again. So I had to take my camera, show all four sides of the room, the door, that it was shut, and that nobody was in here but me. So once that happened, she basically read me the rules again and told me I can't have any disturbances while I'm in the room. And she told me she could cancel the test right where I'm at and not let me finish that question, but she let me go ahead and finish it. And then I ended up having to submit the exam. I failed, of course. I didn't fail by a lot, maybe like 2 or 3 questions, right? I was right there at it. But going back to review, those 20 probably would have helped. So yesterday I was just really pissed because I had told my husband Tuesday, Wednesday that I was taking this exam, and I don't know if he forgot. He most likely wasn't listening, because that's how he is sometimes. Didn't hear me or whatever. I don't know. So now I'm at this point where I'm I need to figure out if I want to attempt this exam a fourth time, or if I just want to change my program or be done with WGU. So for these exams, you only get 3 chances on your own to take the exam, just with studying and all that stuff. The fourth time, if you have to take it, you have to go through an approval process. And you have to do it like a teach back with the course instructors, your course mentor, their supervisors, and a few other people. So, I'm trying to debate, and you basically have to teach them the material. And I'm trying to debate, is that something that I really want to do? You know what I mean? Or is it, if that's something I want to do, or do I just want to start over somewhere? Because I only have 1 semester left, right? But if I fail this exam, the fourth attempt, then I'm out of the program. You know what I mean? I have to choose something different, or I'm just done, period. So I'm not sure now what I want to do with myself. I think maybe, I've already talked to the program chair for this, department, and she knows that the exam for C810 and D033 are set up horribly. There's a lot of grammatical errors on the test. There are a lot of spelling errors on the test. I don't really know who makes the exam questions for these tests, but she knows that they're set up bad. But there's nothing that she can do at this time, because we're in the middle of the year, or towards the end or something like that. She says she's not going to make changes to the exam until next year. Well, not next year, fall. That's too late for me, And you can only get a gap in between your semesters, like a rest in between your semesters for like 2 or 3 months. You can't get anything longer than that. So, I'm kind of stuck now. Do I just cut my loss, go to a different school, or do I stick it out, and gamble on a fourth test? You know what I mean? This is the second time that my husband has done this to me. I just I don't know what's wrong with him. I think he doesn't listen. I know that part. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself. Am I going to try and pass take a gamble on passing the fourth exam, or do I go to a different school? I really like WGU, but I think sometimes the setup is not for me. You know what I mean? The pace on your own, you just dig into the material, and then like the course instructors have no idea what's on the exam. They don't know what's being asked. They don't know, they do know how many versions of the exam that there are, but they don't know what's being asked, or what's required of us. So, I told my course mentor yesterday, it's kind of like the blind leading the blind. And she was like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but, I'm pretty sure they can prepare you. And I said, well, if it wasn't the blind leading the blind, I probably would have passed by now. You know what I'm saying? The questions that I had on the exam, some of them were questions that I hadn't seen before, and it's because the versions of the test, have changed, or and the course instructors don't know what to prepare you for. So basically, you're taking a 70 question test on a 23 or 24 chapter book, a big healthcare information concepts book. That's what you're taking the exam on. So they can ask you anything from 20 some chapters worth of reading. So and I think maybe WGU setup is not for me. I'm leaning more towards that, because I'm struggling with this exam, and I have also another class that I need to take that's going to be just like this, and it's D033, and I don't know if I want to stress through it. You know what I mean? The work at WGU has been challenging. It has been difficult some days to get everything done and everything accomplished that I need to. And sometimes I feel like I'm not learning all the time when I need to be learning, or the chapter work is so, I don't say vague, but the questions they ask us to report back on or answer in order to complete the class are so vague. There's like no benchmarking, I guess, when I was in, like a traditional school. So I think that I am going to look. So I looked on AHEMA yesterday, and I looked at a few bachelor's programs, and I do want an accelerated program because I don't want to spend all day, the rest of my life in school, and paying all these loans and crap, and fees. So I looked yesterday at at the AHEMA education site for a bachelor's degree program. My state does have one, but I've talked to them, and they're actually closing the program at Regis. It's super expensive, like, sorry, 23,000 or something like that, or 20 some thousand a year. So I called, I think it was Ashford University, and it's based out of San Diego, and they had a HIM program with an 89% pass rate, and that's really good. And they're accredited through CHIMA and everything. So I called them yesterday, and I'm getting some information. I'm going to let them assess my transcripts and see where I fall at. I have to make a decision on whether I'm leaving or staying WGU by next week. My term is supposed to end the 28th. I'm supposed to have my evaluation back from Ashford by Monday, and I'm supposed to talk to a mentor by then as well. So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing with myself, and keeping all my options open, because maybe this isn't for me. They have a little more of a structured setup with their classes, like, even though it's accelerated, there's stuff that you still have to do in the class, like participate in discussion boards, participate in weekly assignments and stuff like that. And sometimes that's what I need to really, I guess, gauge my understanding of the material. At WGU, there is no like true benchmarking. There is nothing to turn in the class except for the final paper. And I think, that's good for some people and that works for some people, but I'm not really sure if that's like my style of learning. So I guess I'll have to see how things turn out Monday. I'm going to really sit down this weekend and think about what I want to do. Do I want to stay at WGU, or do I want to leave? Because every single time that I've taken this exam, I failed by 1 to 3 questions. Every single time, even the first exam. The second one, not so much, because I was working with my the instructor that they assigned to me, and she's not really she's not a teacher. Like, she doesn't teach. She's not good at teaching. She's not good at explaining concepts. There's 2 other instructors attached to that class. They're excellent. So yeah, my third attempt was a fail, and I don't know what I'm gonna do now. So I'm just